Where are the demon stompers? Ya's demon stompers. Where are you? You will notice that my rabbit ears are not touching God's anointed. They're just hovering. So or you could view that as when I say the words God's anointed, those rabbit ears are actually quotes. So this will remain open. I'm going to do some work. And if anybody's brave enough to pop on in, then do so. The link is down below. Hello to any viewers there. This is Battle of Mount YouTube number 2, an attempt to contact somebody from a mighty wind that could help explain to me the Nacomia prophecy and why that failed. So if you're brave enough, pop in, link down below. Would love to talk with you. We have one viewer again. Hello, one viewer. I don't know who this is, but I am happy that you're here. And there's a link down below. You could come in and join if you like in this Battle of Mount YouTube number 2, looking for the Demon Stompers, so we can chat about the Nacomia prophecy and what happened. And did God make a mistake? I don't know. You tell me. Welcome. In the meantime, until somebody's brave enough to come in, I'll continue to do something more productive. But I am looking forward to speaking to at least one brave soul. Thank you. Hi, Keycog. I don't want you holding your breath, Keycog, because I don't think there's anybody brave enough to show again. But I should plan something. Say, I've only been doing it where I knew that I had a break in my work, or in the case of last Saturday when I wasn't doing anything and I was in front of a computer. So um, if I planned it a little better, then maybe somebody would show up. But I did tag some people. It appears that Ann Lynn has me blocked because he's the guy that I was most looking forward to talking, because he's the only one that's been brave enough to comment. But there's another viewer in here, and I don't think it's me. So if you'd like to come in, the link is down below. I'd be more than happy to chat with you or get stomped. One or the other. Be gentle. Question has been posed. Are they, meaning you, Demon Stomper, not brave enough to face me? Or are you not brave enough to face your red lady if she finds out? Well, she's been tagged, so I suspect it might be that it could be that it's the Sabbath, maybe one, because I think that it is in Israel, if that's where Caleb is, Ezra, whatever your name is, and they could, number two, be on their honeymoon, which I'm sure is a wonderful time of frivolity and adultery, but just my opinion. So, yeah, as Demon Stompers, I'm ready when you are. I figure we'll go for, I don't know, maybe an hour as it sits here, but maybe I'll play some music, but I think I need to turn the sound down. I'm going to try and do that. Hopefully the sound is down. It looks like it went louder, actually. See if we go a little lower. Should even be mute. Very strange. Huh. Let me see if I turn it up. Sorry. Hopefully the sound is down. It looks like it went louder, actually. All right. Huh. I think that I can put music on. Sure, hold on one second. What's the name again? I met a red lady. She waved when I saw. She's sitting in the doorstep, no light within the room. And she called out as I fell there. She gave a smile, I floated away. I've met a lady. She stole my lonesome soul. I thought I found a diamond. She's a shallow lump of coal. She feeds on the fires of the cold pit of hell. So I shout for the Lord to save me from myself. Lord, save me from myself. That was Met a Red Lady by Rob Reed. David and many others. I cast my cares on the Lord, for only He can sustain me. My wage for sin I can't afford, and still you took the blame for me. Oh my God, please keep my feet from stumbling. Count my tears within the book of life. Set me free from the snares that lay before me. So I may walk in the light of life. Times of darkness move away. I'm in the world and I am weak. Just when I think I'm hopeless, the Holy Spirit carries me. Oh my God, please keep me from stumbling. Count my tears within the light. Set me free from the snares that lay before me.
It's your client call right after this.
In the light. Oh my God, it's you I pray. In you, Lord, the word I pray. In you, God, I trust, I'm not afraid. What can men do to me? Oh my God, it's you I pray. In you, Lord, the word I pray. In you, God, I trust, I'm not afraid. What can men do to me? What can men do? Oh my God, please keep my feet from stumbling. Count my tears within the book of life. Set me free from the snares that lay before
Smiling one in the light. Oh my God, please keep me from something. Count my tears with the light. Set me free from the snares of waiting for me. So I will in the light. So I may walk in the light. So I may walk in the light.
Not to have telling anybody to go get some just going past that. They say those people that and that they go and get a stamp and they don't even purchase it. Your ass I was very specific. It's gonna be like $1 or whatever. It's not worth it. You're just gonna
the sun winds again. The night lost, the day begins. But we're still in the fight, despite the damage of time. We fade away in the working day till nightfall comes again. We're wild and free. It's more than you and more than me. So let's chase the moon with all our friends. Let's catch the moon so we're not open. We're wild and free. Night fills the sky. Secrets, there's one to fight from the day. Though we know it's a sleep, joy is born in the evening, even though there's strife in the day. Though we know it's deceiving, joy is born in the evening, even though there's strife in the day. We're wild and free. It's more than you and more than me, so let's chase the moon with all our friends. Let's catch the moon so they're not open. We're wild and free. More than you, more than me. We're wild and free. It's more than you, more than me. So let's chase the moon with all our friends. Let's catch the moon so we're not open. We're wild and free. It's more than you and more than me. So let's chase the moon with all our friends. Let's catch the moon so we're not open. We're wild and free. It's more than you and more than me. So let's chase the moon with all our friends. Let's catch the moon so we're not open. We're wild and free. Wild and free. Oh,
That was Wild and Free by Rob Reed. And we've got some viewers in here. If you'd like to talk, there's a link down below. Come on in. Where are the Yaz Demon Stompers? Here in this Battle of Mount YouTube #2. Certainly would like to talk with you, particularly about the Nakomia prophecy. Hey, there he is.
Are you
Let me pause the music. How you doing? If you'd like to talk, there's a link down below. I think you've got me on the other side there. I think you have to click off the link. Certainly would like
likes photography, particularly about the Nakami. And
Oh, hold on a second. Wait, just a second.
It appears that Saint Brucifer has left the building. Now, Bruce is brave enough to come on in. We're now at 3 viewers. So I suspect that one of those viewers may be a Mighty Wind person. And if you are, look, this is just about a discussion. And I've been trying to have a discussion. And I know that Caleb has said that he will not be silent. And so I think that it's important for those people who are on the outside looking in of, quote, God's own holy ministry, unquote, that those on the outside should be able to ask questions. Particularly the primary question that I was hoping to ask of Elizabeth, Elijah, and Caleb is the Nicomia prophecy. What happened? Did God get it wrong? Why did he get it wrong? Did he change his mind? He knew about it all along, but he needed to test you? If that's the case, then it's very possible that me talking with you right now has been designed to give you truth. Isn't that a possibility? What if a year from now I was the new male leadership in a Mighty Wind? Well, the third viewer has left. Hey, Bruce, welcome back. I think that you have me on the, you have the chat window open for the actual page in addition to.
Oh, you're thinking I have both open, and what's that do?
Well, no, we're good now. Because when you were talking before, I was hearing stuff that I already said, so it was replaying in the background.
I must have had it playing. Sorry about that.
We're good. So this is the Battle of Mount YouTube #2. I'm trying to get somebody in here from a Mighty Wind to talk with me about the Nicomia prophecy.
That
You've
would
heard
be
about?
Oh, yes.
Have you heard about the new male leadership of God's holy ministry?
Yeah, apparently the first Nicomia didn't work out. Well, I think the prophecy failed or something, apparently.
Well, I think, you know, and this is answering for them, that God has tested them, just like Judas. He had to put another Judas in their midst, but not just their midst, because there have been plenty of Judases before, but actually to marry the ring maiden, God's own chosen ring maiden. And
well, she did touch the feathers of an angel that sat down at her bedside.
yeah, but it makes me wonder, because you know who was in the bed at the same time that she touched the feathers of the angel?
I think Jesus was with her.
No, there's somebody more flesh and blood at the time.
Who was that?
Nicomia was in the bed right next to her.
Boy, I feel bad for that poor guy. You know, that's a shame.
He's around. He's around though. He
saw
might have been. Yeah, he might have been watching.
She I wonder if she did some type of holy divorce decree or something. You know, I mean, sadly, but it makes me wonder, you know.
She didn't do it. It's already been. So that's the cool thing about being in a Mighty Wind, really, is that if you just say out, like, if somebody disappoints you that you marry, you can just come flat out and say, you know what, that I'm entitled to a holy divorce decree. God has said I can divorce somebody. That person could not possibly be my soulmate because they made me mad. They won't do what I want to do, and I want to do it, so therefore they can't possibly be my soulmate. And on that basis, but see, what makes it really, really hard and difficult, at least I think, for a Mighty Wind, is the fact that the bone of my bone soulmate ministry came out of the relationship between Nicomia and Elizabeth. Isn't that interesting?
I don't know how she came up with that name, but That's worse than my icon picture here, I tell you.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's plenty I could say about that, but I'm trying to I've already given them so much fodder on this channel to do, you know, like you've done with the voodoo and stuff. I don't know if you've seen some of the small things I did on this channel, but even on I think it was on my Lift Aloft channel. And if they're listening to this, they can use that as well. I know there's going to be a great video that's talking about me being a demon or whatever.
I don't think they'll do
I'm
that.
holding a copy of Interview with the Vampire. They're going to love that one.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do anything anymore because my theory is that when the law got involved before and they got ripped off by the lawyer, that's my guess what I think might have happened. And they got chased off of YouTube by Christians and atheists. I think they just decided to be kind of quiet.
Here's the thing, though, is that Caleb, which is this young man that you're looking at in front of me that I'm doing the rabbit ears on, who now calls himself, God gave him a new name, Ezra, and he is now the new soulmate. He said that he would not be silent.
Right.
And so I'm sort of waiting for him to not be silent.
He's apparently going to kick some butt for Yahushua. Well, I don't know. I mean, it just makes me wonder. You know, I mean, that's what they did before. They throwing curses on people and praising their supposed God, as they see it, when tornadoes and hurricanes, any type of tragedy hit where they thought an enemy would live. I can't help but bring that stuff up because that was really sick, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that this guy actually brings a little bit more sanity, but that's saying a lot because he follows this lady.
Well,
but
it's like, I mean, how do you bring sanity into terrorism?
Yeah, exactly, and that's the fear with this particular group of being involved. But I just feel led to come on out with the new, for those members. There have to be some Mighty Wind members who have called Nakomia dad. They've called him dad for like the last 6 years, the whole time this stuff has been on, and now all of a sudden they're told to despise him and hate him. That there has to be one or two of them that are sitting there on the fringe, if you will, and are ready to go to the other side. And that's why I think that I need, and the right side, the side that will bring them back to their families and away from these people who are taking their money and using them.
Sure. I mean, it's not like they're the Branch Davidians at this point. They're not like what was the Hellbop Comet people, that ordeal. You know, these people still have hope. You know, they still have hope. You know, they can, they don't have to stay there. And what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to get curses thrown on them by some whacked out people.
Well, it's how much time they've been led away from their actual families and friends and their lives before, and at least a couple of them who had a wife, and particularly and most importantly had children that, as far as I know, they don't have any connection with anymore. There's a lot of people still being hurt by this, maybe not in the same way, you know, like Heaven's Gate is the one you were talking about, where they ended up killing themselves. But right. You know,
well, that's what I mean. This isn't like that. I mean, this is an issue, a deal where they could go back to their families. They could work things out. They could get jobs if they actually have the ability to choose what they want to do in life. And if they wanted to witness, they can do that anywhere. You don't have a group of people that speak a language that hardly anybody knows.
That's true. Well, we have, I think, one viewer in here again. We had 3 at a particular time. If you would like to come in and talk about it, and you're a member of a Mighty Wind, you admittedly, like the picture that I'm showing and some of the videos I've done have been provocative, but that's just because no one's talking to me. And so I figured this would be a way to get somebody to speak. And it is the Sabbath, I realize, but we'll just be restful and have a nice little discussion. And maybe you can convince me that Mighty Wind is God's chosen holy ministry. I know you've already convinced St. Crucifer, and I'm trying to change his mind.
You know, Rob, you do have a good attitude. You know what? And that's what I have always liked about you. You're a good guy.
There's only one way to try and get through life. And see, that's where the Bible is wise, because the Bible is wise in trying to be living peaceably with people, because God knows that that's the best way for us, for everybody, but particularly the people who are doing the talking, like me or you, to be healthy. Because otherwise we take this stuff a little too seriously, and then it becomes really unhealthy.
I was thinking of starting to act a little more like Brother Ron, and because I wanted to be a true Christian. I want to have like some real attitude.
No, but as time progresses, his discernment continues to go into the crapper. We already know that he likes the Mighty Wind ministry, and then he sort of didn't, and then he sort of went off the map. But he also was a big fan of our friend from Korea.
Yeah, that's a shame. And he thinks the Bible's changed. The very words in the text are changing. And I found it interesting that I looked up a few of those verses and some old commentaries I've laying around, and amazingly, they discuss some of those. So,
it's well, even with interview, like the one thing I first saw, the very first, like I said, all right, let me see where these people are coming from. So I watched one of these Mandela Effect videos, and the first point they were making was on and this will be good for a Mighty Wind that we're talking about here. They could use this clip, but in college I read The Vampire Lestat, which was the second book. It's when I started liking the Anne Rice books. But the first book was Interview with the Vampire, and I got the book, and I have the book. And this video that I'm watching with the Mandela Effect was trying to say how the name of the book has been changed. And I'm like, well, look, I have a copy from 1988. And it was always called Interview with the Vampire. It is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just people, there's just so much mental unhealthiness here, and YouTube allows it to thrive.
And it flows better when you say Interview with the Vampire. And I just said it, but what did I say?
Yeah, no, exactly. And they have a clip of the author, Anne Rice, who says interview, and it sounds like she says interview with a vampire. But then they also added in this silly video that I watched, they also added the clip from the Academy Awards, I think it was. And they say interview with a vampire. But the funny thing is, you're looking at the clip, and in the right corner of it, it was for the only thing they were nominated for, I think, was best music, something like that. And they had the name of the song on the side below in the video clip, and it said interview with the vampire, totally refuting the claim.
It got changed. They not only is text changing in your Bibles, but movies and everything are changing on us.
God, strong delusion God is sending is he's like refilming stuff, and he's got his holy printing press.
Well, I remember what I told Thick Shade, or whatever. I told him, I said, can you, if he thinks time is actually changing now, I said, I guess you could argue that it's possible with a digital watch or something, but how would you do that to a mechanical watch? It would fly to pieces. It's impossible.
And I also find it interesting why would God be that concerned about Interview with the Vampire or these movies?
Devil or God.
Like what does that serve? What purpose does that serve in God's desire to delude the populace?
I think it's because there's some wackos started with that stuff, and then for some reason, some wackos who some may be Christians, claim to be Christians, whatever, and they decided to just start saying the Bible's changing too. I think they're bored with Christianity as a normal way of living, that they wanted to make it particularly bizarre just to make it more interesting and exciting. Like they got tired of the video game that we're playing, so they want a new one, something more exciting. That's my guess.
That's exactly right, though. And it's the same with our friend, Mr. Cross, Mr. IC, who, for him to be a disciple of Christ wasn't enough, but he had to be an Ezekiel. He had to feel that he was called to be a watchman, and he had to warn the world of all of the false prophets on YouTube and all of the fake Christians.
Well, and then on top of it,
Christianity wasn't fun enough.
And the Bible itself, the way it is, wasn't enough either. So you had to add a couple extra books to it, you know. Hey,
Well,
I just find that interesting. You know, I understand people do stuff like that, but it is just odd for a guy that's preaching fundamental Christianity, adds Joshua and Enoch, just because the Bible just apparently wasn't enough the way it was.
there's just so much misunderstanding of the major message. I love my favorite. This has to be one of my ultimate favorites is how our Korean friend, he loves to justify his actions to other people that treat him badly, as that's really what God means. When God says treat other people as you want to be treated, it means that if somebody doesn't treat you right, then you can treat them wrong as well.
Yeah, I had a guy tell me that he was sort of like the head of this stuff for a while. He seems to have changed a good bit lately. Sure seems that way. The ex-con guy, you know, seems to, I don't want to mention his name because I really do see him trying, you know.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, hey, doing good. No, but I do think he's. Last I talked with him in a hangout, he's trying to be peaceful, get along with people, and yeah, I was really impressed, you know.
All I do is I pray for that guy.
And I'm not saying
I
it'll
don't
go back.
believe
It might change. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off.
that's all right. Just say I don't believe it. I mean, it's kind of like it's the boy who cried wolf. It's you. It's like George Bush said, "You fool me once," and then he forgot what the next part was, and then he said, "I'll never get fooled again." You know what I'm saying?
George Bush forgot what the next part was.
Yeah, he was like, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." You know, like if I let you fool me again, but he couldn't remember that. So he just said, "Fool me once," and then paused and went, "I'm never going to get fooled again," something like that. But that's the point that I wanted to make.
I'm sorry. I kind of like George Bush, you know. You know me.
Yeah, but you know what? So did I. I mean, and obviously the man was smart, but he didn't come off that way. But he went to big schools, and you know you have to have a brain. I think his IQ was fairly good. I don't know, and it's ultimately it's not that important. But as
He's a
a
good guy.
lover of the country, I truly believe he loved this country. The problem was he had people in his. He wasn't qualified to be president. He had people in his ear that were telling him to do really nasty things for their own economic benefit. I
Well,
think.
they should get somebody from a mighty wind in if we talk about this. But actually, though, I don't think Obama's qualified. But that's me, you know.
I think he was underqualified for sure, but where we'll differ is I think he did a pretty good job. But we don't need to go into that. We could go into.
But we should be able to get them in here by now. You see, because my issue is that now he's trying to talk about racial issues, and he comes from a background that 20 years of sitting through that. It's that's why I say he's not qualified. I don't think he's a dumb guy, or that he's bad at it. I think he's done a good job with a lot of things. That's my thought. Even though I may not agree with some things because I'm not liberal, but I kind of like the guy, but I really don't like. I think right now it's very difficult for somebody to speak coming out of Black liberation theology to try to, you know, that's just seriously, yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But here to move it back into a mighty wind, and we still have one viewer who's, if it is a mighty wind viewer, it will be someone who is recording this. And rather than record it, it would be really great if you just came in and were brave enough to actually participate in the discussion. Because to bring this back to a mighty wind, Bruce, you may not have heard, but in the latest Yah's Lady in Red prophecy, Yah himself has endorsed a presidential candidate. Can you guess who it is?
Well, you know, it's a dang shame because, you know, I'm not saying I want to vote for the guy, but I probably will. But I sure wish they would leave that alone. Please don't tell me. I gotta go get a cup of coffee. I don't even think I want to hear because just tell me it's God's servant or something. Please, just don't tell me it's Trump.
Well, I'll just tell you it's not Hillary. Go get your coffee.
Okay, all right. It's Bernie Sanders. See, I knew it.
Not him either. And with that, we're going to play some more mellifluous tones from Rob Reed. until we can get somebody from a mighty wind in here, somebody from a mighty wind, stand up for your group.
No, whenever you're ready. Whenever I just got thinking about something though.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no. I'm sorry, I interrupted. Did I interrupt? Or were you playing music?
No, I just while there's a gap and I'm waiting for the amazing Yaz Demon Stompers or somebody to come in here.
Well,
I play a little music in between.
I just got thinking about something. Now, how would Trump deal with a group of people that throw curses on people?
Oh, he would love that. Come on. Can I read to you what Yah himself has said?
I can tell you right now, man. Trump, you know, I mean, in that sense, what I do like about him is he's a tough dude, and I don't think he'd put up with any crap. And I can tell you right now, if he saw some of the crap that was going on here, he wouldn't put up with that.
This is the great thing about this latest prophecy. I think it's a prophecy. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, there it is. I have to read it to you, Bruce.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear it.
Are you prepared? I'm going to try and pick and choose because I haven't read it. But the title of Prophecy 131, and if somebody's in a mighty wind watching this, there's one viewer. You could come in here and try and tell me, you know, what you think of this. Prophecy 131 called, I have raised up Donald Trump for this time and hour. So he's like right in the title. And then Elizabeth, in the middle of her sucka is saying all this stuff. Her response right from the time when he says that is, oh my, is what it says. So this is what Yah says. The satanic elite that fills the White House have so much blood on their hands, but I've raised up Donald Trump, who values the sanctity of life. And it is his desire, and I've given him this desire, to wash that blood off the hands, to change the abortion laws, to give the rights back to the states. You know, the states, because God's really concerned about the states. Let's see. No, there's some really good stuff here. I haven't read it, but here's what Elizabeth said in here. She had a vision of popcorn.
Oh, good. Well, you got to have some popcorn if you're going to listen to this stuff.
She sees a vision of popcorn. He's like that. You put the kernels in a pan, and Yahushua is saying he's going to shake them up. And he's shaking that pan where there was only a few kernels of truth allowed. Abba Yah is saying, and the prophecy continues, he has been anointed to make the noise. You can't silence him. Look at this. Like, God has just brought Donald Trump to say as the new Jesus, really. He's here to save the states, the world. What do you think, Bruce?
Well, I think, to me, Donald Trump's just, I don't have a lot of choice. I'm not very happy about it. But on the other hand, I think that a group like a Mighty Wind, when they're particularly out of control and throwing curses on people in different states, speaking of different states, he'd probably have them sent back to their own countries, wherever they came from. We wouldn't want them here.
Well, yeah, a lot of them, that's for sure. Let me see.
Well, terrorist activity. When you're wishing for people to die and stuff, and rejoicing when hurricanes hit and stuff like that. I don't know. I just don't somehow think that Trump there would like that a whole lot.
Yeah, how about what happened in Nice yesterday? Wasn't that fun?
Oh, that's horrible. You know,
they've shown that guy was he doing it for ISIS? I didn't hear.
Okay. I don't know yet, but you see, this is the kind of thing with the Mighty Wind that would bother me. Is, let's say there were some enemies that happened to be living in France. They might have been rejoicing, thinking that that was Yah's way of wiping those people out. You know, their enemies. That's
it was one of the things I put in my the last battle of Mount YouTube. When no one showed up to that one either. I did that last Saturday. And there was a young lady from a Mighty Wind, and she felt that she was given a song. And the song basically was like, I'm going to raise my hands or dance around like David did. These are the lyrics essentially, and as if no one's watching, and then basically celebrate when God drowns their enemies. And she had this smile on her face, like it was such a happy thing.
And I mean to me, you know, like for instance, we may agree or disagree on certain situations with war and that kind of thing, but you know, if you catch yourself laughing or thinking something's great, like watching a bomb blow up, and you're like, "Oh, look at that!" You know, yeah, like it's watching a football game or something. I mean, you got to get control of yourself. Say, "Whoa, wait a minute! This is horrible. This is hard. This is evil." Or I don't know if evil maybe is the right word in correcting what you might perceive as evil, but it's a horrible thing, not something you rejoice and laugh about.
Yeah, no, and that's the whole thing, is that that's what makes the people of A Mighty Wind and makes Elizabeth evil, pretty evil, is that they celebrate the idea of people burning in hell, tortured, hurting. I know the very things that you can't stand and that I can't stand.
Right.
That to me, the idea of anyone perishing and being hurt and torturing, particularly because that could be members of my own family.
Well, sure.
It's a horrible thing. And so you watch when it's just real easy to be, when you have it's just a concept, you know, it's kind of like when somebody's just talking about it's not a big deal, but when you actually see it, you know, there was footage yesterday of the people who were run over and just mangled, and it's stuff that I wish I didn't see, but the curiosity gets the better, and it's just, that's when you sit and you realize, you just go, I can't fathom how somebody could be that evil. And then here we are, we have this really pretty, sweet young girl, couldn't be more than 20, with a big smile on her face at the prospect that I'm going to drown. You know?
Well, that's the problem with cults and that kind of mentality, is that when people get that far out of control, they lose compassion. They for some reason think they're serving God when they're just performing evil. You know, it's amazing. It's terrible to see that the human mind can be twisted that much. You know, I think it's almost hard to believe. It's hard for me to believe, but yet I can't help but notice it's obviously happening at times. You know.
Well, you can see in A Mighty Wind, that's when I start to understand it. Like, I can see where the evil comes in ISIS, as much as it would be unfathomable for me before. But watching these people, just based on what this very average, heavy-set, I suppose charismatic, because she certainly brings a lot of people to her, what she's able to do, this Elizabeth, to take people away from their families. And to see how easy it is for her to totally upend somebody's family. For instance, if they have children and things might not be working out 100%, but to get them to leave that entire situation to somebody that she says, God says, is the soulmate. And that's why I say one of the purposes of this thing is, like, if you're a person in A Mighty Wind and you've left your family because Elizabeth said that she had a better soulmate for you through Yah, and the soulmate that allegedly God gave her first, which is this Nacomia fella, fell through, how could you possibly believe her?
I think they believe her because it's exciting and it's rebellious towards whatever faith and family life they had in the past. It's new and exciting and rebellious, in my guess. And they feel that it's right because they're doing it before what they can claim to be God. But obviously God, that's not Jesus in the New Testament. It's obviously God. It's obvious.
Well, here, this is actually the best part about Prophecy 131. Do you want the Donald Trump prophecy from A Mighty Wind? Are you ready for this?
I don't know, though. You're going to make me upset now over the Donald Trump thing. Okay, go ahead.
You may need to sit down. This is what Yah himself told his ring maiden to tell us all.
Okay. First of all, I have to admit this. Okay, I I don't like a lot of the way Trump acts, but I do kind of like Trump in some ways. So I'll just think about Donald Trump, of all the good things, and I'll cherry pick and throw all the ugly things away. And with the ugly things, I'm going to throw whatever Yaz Lady in Red thought she heard in her head and wrote down, or whatever she did.
This is what Yahushua told her. Okay, he said, Donald Trump, he's coming to this ministry. He will hear these prophecies, especially those that stand up for the sanctity of life. He is so against abortion. He truly loves little babies in the womb. Yah has prophesied. He's told Elizabeth that Donald Trump is going to be a winner.
Oh, really? Now, do you think that Donald Trump's going to go along with what about rape or incest? Young
Yeah,
people?
yeah.
What about the new guy he just brought in? I'm not sure where that stands. What about where he used to stand on abortion? You know, I'm just wondering. I'm just saying. I'm not so sure that quite. You know, she's hearing it all well there. I think the devil's been talking to her.
Well, I don't know. Once again, she's put herself out on the line.
She has
the same way she did in that prophecy where she said Ellen DeGeneres was going to play God in Oh God, the remake that never happened.
Yeah.
You know, so she lost a little credibility there.
No, that's the Mandela effect. We know it happened. It's just not everybody saw it. But I think she has an overactive imagination. Probably be good at writing. I don't know if she's witty enough. I'm not sure. Maybe, you know, to write, you know, some type of fictitious books or something. You know, maybe it'd be a good thing for her.
Maybe she could. I'm waiting for her to jump on the Mandela effect. That would be fun. She'll totally buy into that.
I don't think they agree with that for what I saw, but I think she'd be good for writing for like the National Enquirer and stuff like that.
I don't know if she could write for it, but she certainly could use it. And she'll need someone to come with ideas, and then she can run with that. So
True.
She's not an idea person as much as she is an embellisher, I think. But she needs a good start. But yeah, just so you know, if you're going to vote for Donald Trump, a vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a mighty win, because he's going to, according to Yahushua, he's going to be a member of a mighty win.
Well, in that sense, I really actually do have to rebuke you, but
Well,
Donald Trump joins the mighty wind. Okay. Now in that case, well, he couldn't make it for a second election. That's for sure.
I don't know. This is the calling of Yah. How do you know that the blue beam rapture isn't going to happen in Trump's first term?
Well, no. Okay, all right. Let me give you my idea of what I think is really going to happen. Trump's going to win, right? And all of America, Europe, and it will spread throughout the nations, will begin to show great respect, if not even worship, for Yah's Lady in Red. And she will have the dignity to tell them not to worship her, that she is just maiden, ring maiden, and that's all she really is. And I think she'll do that. And then I think in the second term, when he's in, and I suspect by that time she's going to divorce this guy, and she's going to marry Donald Trump. And at that point, the blue beam rapture will probably come.
I actually said, so I think it was on TJ Brooks' channel yesterday. I said, did you know, TJ, that the J in Donald J. Trump actually stands for Nico?
Well, yeah, but it was really, you see, the problem is it was originally a Y, and then from German into English, it turned into a J. And it really stands for Yah.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of a silent J with a Y sound associated with it.
Like, that's how Jesus came about, you know, and they when it went from the Greek and the German, right, they got rid of the Y and it turned into a J, and then when I guess we put it into English, we end up with Jesus. And I guess that's what happened to Donald Trump, you know. So obviously, I guess he is really a servant already of Yah's Lady in Red.
I wonder if there'll be a name change, though. You know, like right now she's not Elizabeth Elijah anymore. She's Elisheva Eliyahu, and if she becomes a Trump, what do you think her name would be at that point? What Trump?
I think it's going to have to mellow out to fit more of the Western, you know, what we're used to hearing. So I think it'll just simply be Sherry Elizabeth Trump. Sherry Elizabeth Trump. I think it's just going to go back to something simple and recognizable. She's going to look great on TV, you know, and plus she's going to have millions and billions. I mean, she's going to be loaded.
How do you know that she looked great on TV, though? We just had a second viewer and they popped out, unfortunately. Darn. I wish they would have stayed.
Maybe they're following my prophecy. I mean, I am speaking prophetically. I mean, I have to be honest. You can see by the horns on my head.
I can feel the anointing. But, you know, how do you know that she's going to look good on TV when we only see her in some photos? You know what I love about this latest photo, too? It's one of the things I said last week, and it's one of the things that I would ask at Winder if they came in here, is that Sylvester, you'll remember, with Dawn, he did this whole video where she had a demon in her throat. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, every picture that we get of the red lady, like this one that you can see, is she covers her neck with her hair. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, well, she's trying to cover that. But the only thing I feel really bad about is that her eyes are kind of wide. And actually, well, I'm not trying to bring any blue or anybody in here, but quite honestly, she does seem smarter than she looks. And I'm not trying to be judgmental. You know, I'm just...
Well, back to her ministry, though, how she loves to talk about that God told her not to put the name in the ministry. But fortunately, super fortunately for Miss Elisheva Eliyahu, God, did not say that she couldn't take money from the ministry. That's interesting, I think. So as long as her name isn't on it, she can make a big buck if she wants.
Yeah. Huh. Well, anyhow, I should go back to say that I was just being a jerk. And really, it's only a picture, and I don't think it's really her, so it doesn't mean anything anyhow. But I'll be right back.
All right, go take the call. I'm going to, while we're waiting, there's one viewer. If you are from a Mighty Wind, if you're a Yaz Demon Stomper, you can do more than record this, take photos or screenshots. You could come on in at the link below and talk in this battle of Mount YouTube. No, the battle of Mount YouTube #2. No one from a Mighty Wind has come in. Again, unfortunately, this is sort of on a Sabbath. It's not the Sabbath here yet, but it probably is wherever a lot of Mighty Winders may be. But we've been on for an hour, and I've tagged some of you. Come on in. Let's chat a little bit. Let's see if you can do a little stomping. That's what you guys have been assigned to do. So come on. Don't be afraid. And while we wait, how about I'm Alive by Rob Reed?
I lived each day of my whole life as if I was not going to die. I was guided by my sin. Then one day God came to me. The scales came off and I could see a life that leads to misery.
Hey, I hear you eating. Are you eating? Sorry.
No, I was just making noise. No, trying to cut back on eating.
No, good for you. No, I need to. I definitely need to. I need to get into workout. I think that's a part of the Mighty Wind curse, though, is to get me to keep eating.
Yeah, they might have done that to you. I think so. Yeah, me too.
It's working. I had some pizza for lunch and a cheesecake. Oh my gosh.
There you go. I had a yurdo. That was pretty good. It was really good.
That's better than pizza and a cheesecake. Piece of cheesecake.
And also came with French fries, and then I had to dump some ketchup out. But then I don't like ketchup. I had to throw some Tabasco sauce on it, and then I ate all that stuff.
You didn't have a Coke with it though, right? Or a beer?
No, a cup of coffee. A couple cups of coffee.
That'll work. You're Mr. Coffee. I like coffee too. Do you have one of those? You have a regular, or you have the French drip, like really high maintenance coffee maker, don't you?
Actually, no. I have a couple bun coffee makers, and then I have one now that I use where I took a bowl and I drilled holes in it, and shaped it round so that like that's my spray nozzle, and I heat it up in a tea kettle with a thermometer stuck in it, so I can see exactly what temperature it is. And
Wow.
and I grind my coffee and I roast my beans, and then that way I can make everything exactly how I want it. You know, I get the roast I want, I choose the beans I want, and I can choose my extraction and adjust my extraction, and through you know the volume of water that flows through, and also my grind. But the French press, is that what you meant? Like the French press where you put it in and then you press the
Yeah,
press
yeah.
button?
That's what I thought you had.
That gives the most control. I like a moron, of course, I have a couple of them too, but I don't know. I am a
Well, I'm about the coffee that I drink pretty much on a daily basis, and oftentimes in the morning and then at night before I go to bed. I love to have a cup of coffee. A lot of people think I'm crazy, including my wife. But I'm about to say what I think is the equivalent of the coffee lovers equivalent of the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit,
Mhm.
which is we have a Keurig machine.
Well, it's easy. It's like the New Living Translation, you know, or no, the Living Bible. No. You know, I mean, seriously though, you have different choices, and I suppose if you do, I haven't played with the Keurig too much. I have a couple of them old things. I don't use them, but uh, I suppose the thing is that you can choose whether it's over ice, it's this or that, or a small shot or a large, and so you can adjust your extraction somewhat, water to ratio, and in a way, can't you? Whether it's
Yeah, well,
large
there's
or small cups and all
just
that.
levels of how much water you put in. There's like a tiny cup, there's a medium-sized cup, or a massive cup, and
Right.
all of them are small though. Like when I ask for a massive cup, the massive cup is just the size of a standard mug.
The only problem you have though is the amount of coffee that's in those packets or whatever in relation to the amount of water. So it might get bitter and over extracted if you go with a big cup, I'm just thinking. But if you make a couple small cups, of course it costs you more, but you might have a nice smooth cup. I'm just thinking that. And of course, can't you buy those K cups or whatever they are, or whatever, where you can still put your own coffee in it, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it comes with a its own plastic K cup that you can fill with your own stuff, which I do. But again, like if I'm going to use a Keurig, the reason that you use a Keurig is so that there's like next to nothing to do.
I
So
agree.
yeah, I'd rather just use a regular coffee maker if I was going to use my own coffee. So I found that there are a couple of really good flavors, and it's really the flavor that it's a good extraction with the Keurig. I love how you use that word with coffee. I never have, but now I feel like a scientist. So,
Yeah, right.
but anyway, I mean, it's not a bad coffee maker, and that's what we've been using for the
No,
last
I
4
think they're cool. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I think I just have fun with it. That's all. It's just a hobby of mine, you know. And
It's good. Nothing wrong with that. So I'm
yeah,
thinking because I'm gonna have to, I guess, go try and finish up some work, or just get the heck out of here because it's a Friday. Once again, in the Battle of Mount YouTube, no one has come to defend themselves. But I thank you for coming in, Bruce.
well, they would have been welcome to yell at me and scream at me, whatever they want to do, curse me, whatever. You know, I might even deserve some of it, but I would have been open to that. You know. Heck.
Well, I definitely do. And as I'm cutting this off, I'll leave it like with a little bit of gospel that they all can enjoy the peace that there is in Christ instead of all of the frustration that they must experience for Yah's Lady in Red telling them that they, in order to go to heaven, they have to get a certain grade on a report card and meet a certain level, a level that there's no way, especially because they're all young men, so you know what's on their mind, especially when they're single, that it's they probably are beating themselves up every day. So I would just remind them that salvation in Jesus is easy, it's free, his yoke is easy and his burden is light. And it's not a heavy chained burden that Yah's Lady in Red gives you. And if you want to know more, you can always talk to me. If you want to defend your ministry, you can do so down below. If it's too much for you to be in the presence of two quote unquote demons But if you, in your name of your particular ministry is demon stomping, you need to be in the presence of them in order to stomp them. Wouldn't you say, Bruce?
Yeah, and gee, Rob, I enjoyed hearing what your prayer, and I enjoy that. You know,
Yeah, well, you're a
you're
good guy, Bruce. I love talking to you anytime we get a chance. I'll tag you if you don't mind the next time I do it. I might even do something if I've got some free time at home this weekend. See if I can finally get somebody in here to talk with me about the Nehemiah prophecy, and then maybe the Trump prophecy, and you'd be more of an expert on that than I would.
Oh, I don't know. There's just hey, you know, I'll just leave it with this on it. You have to admit this is the most bizarre election I think you ever saw in your life.
No, there's no doubt. And I'm loving every moment of it because I love politics, and I don't like arguing about it so much. I don't like, you know, I'm definitely not in love with the idea of like embracing a candidate or something. I just know what I like, what I think is fair. I have a certain philosophical concept about how a society should be run, and I just try and vote as close as I can there. But I never belittle someone else for feeling
All right,
different than I
I'll
did.
ask you this: if let's say you could bring them back, if well, obviously we can't, but if you had a choice of, wouldn't it be a lot different though if you had a choice between, let's say, Reagan and Jimmy Carter?
Yeah, but I mean, look, Reagan had his problems too. The thing I honestly believe about the president.
But you could say that about I could say that about Carter too. But my point is, I think
No,
they're decent guys. So
yeah, but what I'm saying is that I don't think the president really does a heck of a whole lot. It's a face. I mean, obviously they do, but
sure.
they have a lot of people helping them. So the difference between Reagan and Carter is really just charisma. I honestly believe that.
I
Like
like
I think
the guys. I like them
I
both.
think if Reagan was given the presidency in 1976, I honestly think that very little would be different. That people would have viewed him more highly though because of his charisma, and he probably would have gotten elected again. If Carter came in 1980, Carter would have been out in 1984 too.
Yeah, but you know what I liked about both of those guys? I just think they were supportive to the American people. I think
That's true.
I think both of them gave people hope. That's what I liked about them.
Yeah, but I think, like in the instance of Obama, I think that he does too. It's just that the world, particularly the political world, our world, the United States, has become so factioned. In other words, like the minute you even see somebody of the opposing party, if you will, you automatically hate them before they speak. And I'm not saying that you do or I do. I'm just saying, you know, as a generality, that
I agree.
there's nothing that person can do to change anybody's mind. In other
Well,
words, they're always going to view it with a filter that however it ends up, it was horrible. And
well,
so, you know, the same can be said, for instance, at the funeral.
we're also
When
living in a world of paranoia. We're living in a world of almost like everything's a conspiracy theory. Everything's, you know, what it's not. Everything, you know, that's ridiculous. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and, you know, there's probably people that think that Obama's really a white Freemason or something. You know, I'm not trying to be. I mean, I'm trying to be funny, but I mean, I could picture there's probably somebody, you know, if they, who knows, on a flat Earth, you know.
Yeah, well, he's a lizard or he's an imam, you know, something one or the other.
Well, I will
Or
say,
both.
okay, I will say this, and before I go, and you have to be honest though, he did talk about the Bible, and he did talk about Leviticus or something, and you know, some kind of odd, I forget how he worded it, verse here or there, you know, something that wasn't that important. I forget the word he used for that, and you know, he didn't speak of the Bible real well, but then he
But you know what I like about him, and that most conservative Christians do not, is that he truly treats the job as if he's the president of the entire nation as opposed to 50%. You know what I mean?
Well, they're right, but the thing that got me though is when he speaks about Islam, he calls it the whole, in the Quran, call it the Holy Quran, and you know, like my Bible, most people's Bibles also say the Holy Bible.
That's annoying, and I totally agree with that.
Yeah, that bothers me. You know.
Yeah, he seems to show more deference to the Islamic, and part of that might be because you sort of have to, because although they claim to be the religion of peace, they're not. You know, I think we can both agree.
Well,
that-
I
that
think
facts speak
some
louder
people,
than words,
yeah,
right?
I think some people choose to live peacefully under Islam, but unfortunately, if you follow the surahs in chronological order,
Yeah.
Muhammad became very ugly at the end,
Yeah.
and I think unfortunately some people choose to follow it that way, and sadly that's some of what we're seeing. You know.
Yeah, it's easy to peace rather. It's easy to preach peace when you're the minority. When you become the majority and you start preaching condemnation and destruction and judgment, yeah, and that's exactly what Muhammad did, which is really sad.
Yeah.
That's probably why it's obfuscated, if you will. It's confusing. That's why they had to mix up the surahs so that it wasn't as obvious that Muhammad, in his later years, when he got power, became just a tyrant.
Well, I think they put it from the longest to the shortest, or vice versa, as opposed to put it in some type of chronological order. I think they did it that way, or some, if I'm not mistaken.
Whatever it takes to confuse the message, you know, to make everyone think, you know. But that's just me, and I'm a little bit biased as a Christian, I guess. So.
No. I mean, it's you know, I mean, quite honestly, I think a person has to work very hard to look at the life of Jesus and turn him into a monstrosity, you know.
Amen to that. Yeah.
You know, really though.
Yep.
That's what we're talking. That's what you hear about, I think. So that's why you're having this tonight, you know, today.
Well, Bruce, it was a pleasure. We will talk again. Give
Take
my
care.
best to your family, your lovely wife, and have a great weekend. All right.
You too. Thanks. Take care, Rob. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.